Tony from CassetteComeback.com, and as you can probably tell, I have yet another cold. Yes, the fabulous British climate, not hot enough for there not to be cold viruses, but not cold enough to kill off the cold viruses. It's just murky and drizzly, and yeah, you get a cold every 4 to 6 weeks in this country if you've got young kids, so we're just going to have to suffer through it. Now, today's video is on cassettes a lot of you, especially in the USA, have been asking me to look at, and the cassettes in questions are tapes from Radio Shack, in this case the Realistic Supertapes. Now in the UK, Radio Shack was called Tandy, and there was one in pretty much every high street of every decent sized town at one point. We're not going to go into the demise of the company, but yeah, I remember Tandy a lot. I used to buy a lot of cables and electronic bits and bobs from them more than anything else, but they also sold tapes. Now, it's a strange one, this, because they used to make their own tapes, and then they bought Memorex, which, you know, is a tape manufacturer, but then Memorex outsourced most of their stuff. And looking at these tapes, because these, especially here in the UK, are surprisingly hard to find, considering there were so many Tandys and so many tapes that they would have sold. And you'd think they'd be easier, but no, I mean, I've had to buy all of these from America because in the UK they're unobtainium. And I guess I can, you know, understand that, because I never actually bought tapes from Tandy when I was younger, but we'll go into that. But let's just have a look at this super tape, and it's a strange tape. I mean, yeah, the sticker's all speckled, but this was actually new old stock before I opened it. But the shell of this, where's this shell come from? This doesn't look like a Memorex shell, if they own Memorex at this time. In fact, if anything, it reminds me more of this Maxell shell. It's the same, apart from the design's different around the edges, you know, physically it's very similar. I don't know if it comes from Maxell or if it's aping it. I mean, it's not identical, but you can clearly see where they took the inspiration for this tape from. So it says, let's have a look at the back of it. Custom manufactured by Radio Shack, and it's in the USA, so it's US made tape. Let's have a see, blah 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 blah. I like this. It's the ensures excellent tape tracking and performance, as opposed to excellent QA on the packaging. But yeah, there's lots of, you know, we've got a Maxell style shell, and then this sort of J card, the gold with the cutout bit, reminds me of the late 70s Maxell UD-XL tapes, you know, where they had the gold thing with the, you know, it's like this has taken a lot of inspiration from it. But if we look at this catalogue here, we can see this comes from 1987. So as we continue, that's the Type 1. We'll look at this one as well, which comes from 1988, as we can see in this catalogue picture here. Now, that's Type 1. Type 2, I don't have a Type 4. The Type 4s are very hard to find. They're supposed to be very good, but I've got something which is almost as good. This was donated to me by Alan Hood. Thank you very much, Alan, for sending this. This is a Type 2, but it's a metal Type 2. I mean, let's just take this in, shall we? We've got Realistic Supertapes sold in Radio Shack, and they've got a metal Type 2. So I know some of the older tapes were made by Denon. Could this be Denon HD8 tape in this? Or could it be, because of the link up, if you think about it, I think it was a Memorex HBX, which was SKC made, and that had metal Type 2 tape in it. Does this as well? I don't know, but we're going to look at these three. But the thing is to note that if you look at these are all there. This is in the 87 catalogue, this is in the 88 catalogue, and these cassettes pretty much stay the same until the 1995 catalogue, when this style come in. So, and this style in 1995, if we look at this, these are Maxell. These Basically, as far as I can tell, Maxell SX2, which was never released outside of Europe, the SX2. Well, it wasn't released in America, but these are Maxell SX2 tapes. But the shell themselves is like some Japanese-only Maxell. So these very much are Maxell. But back to the point, 1988 to 1995, 7 years, they had the same tape range. And that's unheard of because mainly the mainstream tapes, you know, TDK, Sony, Maxell, they used to change the tapes every couple of years to keep up with looks and design and technology. But these were 7 years in the catalogue, pretty much the same. And that's could be a reason why these didn't really sell. I mean, these came in, like I say, in 95, but around 92 in Europe, I remember we had this style of cassette coming, the Realistic Supertape. And if you look at the shell and the Supertape right in there, this is Memorex. This is a Memorex. It's got Memorex shell, Memorex printed, they own Memorex, so it's a Memorex. But you guys in America didn't. You got these until 1995. And this is part of the reason why I think they're so rare, because I personally never bought these. Why would I buy them? I mean, okay, 1992, yeah. I can get myself one of these, or for much, much less, I can get myself one of these. I mean, this looks sexier and this is cheaper. Why am I buying this? Because when I used to buy tapes, especially when I was young, you used to buy the multi-packs. You know, you used to get a 10-pack for $4.99 of something. These were never sold that way. These look boring. These look... yeah, they're just... I mean, let's look at the back. Is there anything on here that would make me want to buy this? Suitable for all kinds of recordings. Smooth sound quality. Excellent dynamic range. Precision housing. Blah, blah, blah. And it's probably a Memorex DBS. But they never sold these in multi-packs. You used to buy, you know, in the catalogue, it's like 1 for one price and then 11 to 20 for this price. And it's like, wow, that's expensive. When I can get like a 10-pack of these for £4.99. Yeah, I know it's a 60, but you get what I mean. And even as far as like 1988, you know, when they were selling these, you know, would I buy this sort of looking thing? Or for less money, would I buy something like that? Maxell that I know in the cool oval shell, this Realistic Supertape in a crappy Type 0 looking shell that costs more and they don't do it in... And that's why they're so rare. That's why these are rare. They eventually, you know, tagged on because the 95 range like this one is actually a straight Maxell. They just use Maxell. Why not? They outsourced it. Better tapes. And even though these are 110s, I have a lot of good times with these. These, I think, are UD2 taping them. The shell certainly looks like it. But, yeah, these are really good for 110. They're not getting snagged up too much. But the bottom line is, that's why these are so rare now, because I don't think many people bought them because they just were unappealing to look at. You know, it's Tandy. Tandy stuff at best was known to be competent. You know, if you were buying amplifiers and stuff, were you going to buy yourself a Tandy or a Realistic amplifier? Or for marginally more, you're going to get yourself a Sony, a Pioneer, a Kenwood. You know, the quality of Tandy's components, you know, some were superb, you know, like the scanner radios and stuff like that. But the hi-fi stuff, no, it was competent, it was budget, it really wasn't high-end. So this must have been reflected on the tapes themselves in my mind, that, you know, they cost more than something decent which I normally buy, and they probably won't be as good, so why would I? And that must have resonated with a lot of people, hence why there aren't so many of these. But anyhow, let's get them all up. And so we've looked at this one. This is the Type 1, but this is a Supertape Gold, so we've got to think this is a bit good. Let's have a look at the Supertape High Definition Chrome Equivalent. I like that. Where everyone is saying, oh, it's chrome, it's chrome, it's chrome, and it's not. This one says Chrome Equivalent. So let's see what it says. 30 minutes playtime. Provides maximum output levels, low noise to capture the loudest and softest music passages. Precision engineered cassette mechanism. Yeah, you see, they've got it. Excellent tape tracking. They got it this time. Excellent on this one, excellent on the other. And it's custom manufactured in USA for Radio Shack. So let's have a look at this one. That's a very sticker wrapper. if there's anything telltale about this. Yeah, again, it's the same shell as the other one. Just, I mean, you got to think this. You could have bought this in 1994. How old and crap did this look for a 1994 cassette? Really, you know, this is why they're so hard to find now. Because you know, these for 1994, they're probably about $4.50 each. I forget because I haven't got the catalogue in front of me. But it's like, why? Ooh, the world's most generic J card. Saucy. I can really see why I would have. No, look at that. Is that broke already? Look at that. Look at that. Do you see that? I only did anything, and it just splintered this shell. Wow, high quality stuff. Lovely. Let's see if this one's any better. So the MI76 Ultimate High Bias Cassette. Unique formulation provides distortion-free reproduction at significantly higher recording. Blah 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 blah. CDs. Yep. Excellent tape tracking. Not excellent. Even in automotive systems, again, custom manufactured in the USA. So let's have a look at this one. This hasn't got a tear strip on it. Let's see if Mr. Fingernail's up for it today. No, he's not. 1 second. Let's get Mr. Knife then. And again, Type 0, well, it was late 70s for Maxell, but it's early 90s for Radio Shack, Type Shell, paper label, again the world's most boring J card that doesn't really have much on it. So yeah, so that's why I think there aren't many realistic super tapes knocking around out there. Because for the simple reason, honestly, unless these have been given away, why would you buy something that looks like this for more money than something modern from a brand that you know is good, that has clever marketing? They didn't sell many of these, so there's not many left. And I think that's why maybe the range lasted so long. Why change the range when you've still got warehouses full of them? When you made a load in 1987 and they didn't sell well in 87, or 88, or 89, or 90, or 91, or 92, or 93. By the end of 94, they're just about sold out, so you bring a new range in for 95. So that's why these are so hard to find. But regardless, let's fire them up and see if they really are just rubbish, cash-in, tacky-looking Type 0 things, anachronisms, or if there's actually a reason to buy them in this day and age, apart from the terrible quality cases. Right, let's go. Okay, for this one, I'm going to use a CR7 because it's a great deck, but the auto cal is really fast and really accurate. And you don't want me to be sitting here bleeding, trying to calibrate the tapes and ZXs or Dragons. And that's another thing, right? I had some guy comment saying, oh, the decks you're using are too good. They make all the tapes sound really good. You're not giving a proper representation of how these tapes can sound. What? What are you on about? Of course I'm going to try and make them sound as good as they can. The channel's called Cassette Comeback, not Cassette Crap. You know, you can't win. When I started out doing stuff on like my Denons and Iowas, same type of sad people were saying, it sounds rubbish, you need to get better equipment. So, you know, rock, hard place, and me in the middle, what am I supposed to do? You know, and the bottom line is, I'm going to get my soapbox here, but I did some calculations on some of the YouTubers I keep getting referred to, and these guys make £15,000 to £20,000 a month out of YouTube. They do it full time. That is their job. They have infinite time. I'm a full-time working dad, right? This video has already cost me around £25 in unsealing these cassettes, yeah? This video will not make me £25 back from the views I get from ad revenue. This is still a very niche market. You know, I've just hit 8,000 subscribers, not 8 million. So, you know, I still manage to at least crank you out one video a week. And, you know, and I don't know what to say to all you guys that are just whining. I don't beg for a Patreon. I don't ask you for nothing. So if you're not going to even leave a nice comment, which is the main reason I do this, to try and build a sense of community, people share their stories, you know, and what they found in the comments. And I try where I can to comment, I really do, but sometimes I just don't get the time to do it. But if all you're going to do is leave snotty, nasty things, then you know what? You're going to find yourself hidden from the channel, because I don't like negativity. I don't want negative people. And most of all, you can just stay with your sad lives where you are. Okay, rant over. Now on to some sunniness, like the Sunny Gold label of the Super Tape Gold. Now, I'm hoping this might be a Super Ferric, you know, with a name like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this at around +3 with no Dolby, and then I'm going to record it with Dolby B, and then we're going to try and crank it up, see how far we can push this. Okay, so this track is from the YouTube audio library. It's called Lusciousness. It's almost like it was named after me. So let's just get this calibrated up and have a see how this does. Turn this down, that's a bit hot. Yeah, about there, should be about +3. Okay, hit is ready. Here's some Lusciousness. So we can hear it's quite a hissy tape. Let's get some Dolby on. Okay, let's get rid of the Dolby, crank it. Okay, that's enough of lusciousness. So, the tape in this is a very rich brown, very rich brown. It doesn't look cobalt up, but then again, neither did the Fuji FR1 Super. So, this is a hissy tape, like a good Super Ferric usually is, or a metal. But Dolby B got rid of most of that hiss and it sounded really good. Then we cranked it to about +7 without Dolby and it still sounded really good. So as far as a Ferric goes, yeah, this is a really good Ferric, even though it looks like a Type 0. Yeah, good cassette, I like that one. So next one, let's have a look at this will probably be like the SA equivalent, the HD60 Type 2. If I can tell, it's just a regular ferrocobalt, so let's just calibrate that one up. Okay, I'll calibrate it. I'm going to turn this down. I want this to be around +3 to begin with, because that's normally where I'd record a normal Type 2. So this next track is again from the YouTube audio library, and it's called Stranger Danger. Ugh. Yeah, that was very decent. The deck, I was just saying about the auto calibration, it seemed to be a little down, whereas the source was peaking around +5 to 7. This was peaking around 3 to 5, so the deck was a little bit down. But yeah, that sounded really well. That sounded as good as an essay to me. Not overly hissy at all. Very black tape in that one. Very black, yeah. But yeah, that sounded really good. Another Type 0 lookalike that doesn't perform like one. And now this is the one that could cause some issues with the auto calibration, because as we know, this is a metal Type 2, and I'm not quite sure how the CR7 is going to handle this. So let's see. If you get a jump cut now to the ZX9, you know that it didn't calibrate it very well. Okay, that's calibrated up. And this is another track from the YouTube audio library called Computo with a K. So I'm going to start this off again. Well, I'm going to start it off around 3 to 5, and then we're going to crank this, see if this can take the levels that a metal Type 2 should. So let's have a do. Right, I'm going to stop computer there, because as you could see there, again, maybe it's the auto calibration, but the deck was down, the tape was down on the source. When it got into the upper echelons of where this tape really should perform, you could notice that it was quite considerably quieter and missing the clarity. So I cannot but think maybe, as I've read, that the auto calibration decks have trouble with Type 2 metals. So let's just do a quick jump cut and let's try this out in the ZX, okay? Okay, so I've calibrated the ZX9 for this metal Type 2 now. Let's see if it performs any better in here. So we're going to listen to Computo again. Right, let's just show you something. Right, hang on. The azimuth is, well, almost perfectly aligned. It was before, but it's aligned. The levels are right. And the bison's almost right. Unfortunately, I think the conclusion we can come to on this one, like all the metal Type 2s, is either they've not aged well, or there's a reason why there really wasn't many of them, why they weren't around for a long time. Because, to be honest, for my money, this one performed better. This one in the ZXL was distorting. It distorted at less in the CR, but in the ZX it was distorting. These, you know, the whole raison d'etre for the metal Type 2 was that you could take metal levels, but at Type 2 bias. Mainly, I think, for decks which didn't have a metal selector. But the point is, they're very hissy at low levels, and at high levels, they just don't perform as good. I mean, I know all of the TDK HXS and the Denon HC8 and stuff, but that's taken on their own merits, you know, when I've listened to them afterwards. But when you compare and contrast, I don't know. I'm going off the metal Type 2s. Give me a good old ferro cobalt Type 2, or a pure chrome, which isn't deteriorating like some of the early BASFRs, but yeah, that wasn't ultra impressive. Oh well. So there we go, that was quite interesting, wasn't it? We've got one very decent Type 1 bordering on a superferric. One very decent Type 2. I really like this one. Very smooth, very nice Type 2. That's as good as an SA. And one Type 2 metal, which, well, is a bit disappointing, to be honest. And then Realistic Tapes went on to be rebranded Maxells and Memorexes. But back to the main three here. What can I say? There's a reason these are expensive and rare, because let's be honest, they've got really good Type 1, really good Type 2 in shells that, you know, scream early 80s, Type 0. They just didn't know how to market these. They didn't realise that, you know, cassettes had to be sexy. There had to be something that made you look and say, wow, yeah, that's cool, even if it's just a wrapper, or in this case, the inner slip sheet. Something that appealed to young people or casual buyers, you know, rather than, you know, that, oh, it's pastel green and pink and, yeah. No, buy something like that, or something like that. Something nice looking, and these weren't marketed like that. So they didn't sell loads. That's why they were in the product catalogue for 7 years, because it took them that long to get rid of them. But the bottom line is, you know, I mean, like I say, this one, it's a 30-year-old cassette. it could have been stored badly, or it's just not aged well, so maybe that's not true testament to how it was when it was new. But these actually are very, very good cassettes. They sound good, they perform good, they just don't look good. And that's why this is probably the last video I'll ever do on Radio Shack cassettes, because, well, the other ones are just simple rebrands, and any other ones are just expensive and rare, and honestly not worth what they cost because of the rarity and expensiveness. But you wanted me to look at them, we've looked at them, and they do get a thumbs up, but with a caveat. So, thanks again for watching. Don't forget, being Retro Nouveau, my radio show, Sunday afternoons 12 till 2 in the UK. Thanks a lot for listening to that. It really means something. This is the kind of payback I'm wanting, you know, not monetary, just people listen to my radio show, people leave nice comments. That's all I'm after here for doing these, nothing more. So, you know, if I sound a bit bitter about people whining at me, it's because I am, and I wish you'd all bugger off who whine along. Well, other than that, please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy taping. Bye-bye.